The game of basketball is constantly evolving, especially on the NBA level, and although it may appear effortless, players really have to put in some work if they want to build and maintain top-tier athleticism and avoid being left in the dust. That being said, let's check out some of the latest NBA stars to have transformed their physique. By the way, you know what to do. Tap the like button and subscribe, because it's buckets all day right here on NBA Zone. Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson is one of the most hyped NBA draft picks in recent years, having been selected first overall by the Pelicans in 2019. At 6'6", with a vertical leap of over 45 inches, Zion Williamson has incredible natural athletic ability. However, like other players, Williamson has at times been scrutinized for his apparent distance from peak physical condition. In 2021, Zion is showing up to prove the critics wrong. Reportedly, the youngster lost nearly 20 pounds during the quarantine, already a monstrous young athlete, destined to run rings around the defenders. Zion is now re-entering the league with an untold potential, having slimmed down, bulked up, and optimized his already astonishing physical skills. LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball has come a long way from the player we first discovered here on social media. The evolution starts with the early clips in middle school, when he was 5'5", but skipping forward to more familiar times, back when little freshman Melo was starting on that historic, undefeated Chino Hills Huskies team. He was running around 5'9" to 5'10", and he grew accordingly to around 6'2" his sophomore season, and was pushing 6'3" that summer at AAU. Of course, this is standard growth for any teenager, especially one with his genetics, but it wasn't until 2018 at 16 years old when Melo had his crazy growth spurt. At the beginning of the year, while playing ball in Lithuania, Melo was recorded at 6'4". He sprouted up to 6'6" that summer, winning the JBA League, and by the time he returned to the States and joined Spire, he was clearly the tallest brother, pushing 6'7" by the end of his senior year. However, when you see him, he looks even taller now. He was even said to have continued to grow throughout this time in Australia, so the general consensus is that LaMelo is 6'8" now, with the Ball family keeping tight-lipped about his measurements. Before the draft, one of Melo's personal trainers confirmed in an interview that LaMelo's official height is 6'7" without shoes. But of course, basketball shoes add about an inch. What's interesting is that LaMelo's teammates and coaching staff have mentioned he was taller than expected. The scariest part is, if he's not there yet, he might be real soon, because LaMelo just turned 19 and is still likely growing. We saw his brother Jello grow in his 20s. Some say he's 6'7" now, and in recent pictures, Jello looks taller than Lonzo, who's between 6'6" to 6'7". But whether it's 6'7", 8, or 9, we got a serious problem right here. LaMelo continues to work hard and is consistently getting bigger and stronger. Plus, Melo can do it all, score on all three levels, and distribute at a world-class level. He's hungry, he loves the game, and he wants to be great. Melo Ball is the real deal. Lonzo Ball. With all the hype around LaMelo, let's not forget about Lonzo, who also happens to be Zion's teammate. Don't think just because he's active in the studio, dropping his new album and all that, he ain't been in the gym putting in the work too. And amongst the Zion hype was a photo of Lonzo in the gym. And bro looks like he's been back running the hills in Chino on LeVar's old school weightlifting plan. We've seen workout videos here and there, and he's been bulking up. Maybe Zoe took a page from Jello's book. Remember LeVar said years ago that once his boys grow into their bald body, there's going to be a serious problem. Well, that take seems as if it's right on schedule. Lonzo's in his 4th NBA season, and if you compare the boy we saw in LA to the man we see now in New Orleans, it's as if you were talking about a whole different beast. Lonzo's basketball IQ and playmaking ability have been elite since day one. Those are instincts that can't be taught or unlearned. But what were the 3 biggest concerns for Lonzo coming into the league? First was his jump shot. Everyone said that his unorthodox shooting form would prove to be problematic, and it did. Lonzo finished his rookie season as a historically bad shooter. His form compromised his shooting ability. Fast forward to now, and Lonzo is someone you don't even leave open on the perimeter. On the season, almost 40% from the perimeter on almost 7 attempts per game, particularly from the All-Star break onwards. It seems as if he was getting more and more comfortable, hitting those shots with more and more confidence at a higher and higher rate. Secondly, they said he wasn't going to be a good defender. That aged well, didn't it? Because Lonzo has been one of the NBA's best defensive guards since his rookie year. His natural instincts, willing to pick up the ball handler full court, and his overall team defense is top tier. And lastly, they said Zoe's gotta get better at attacking the basket and finishing around the rim. He's often too timid to go up and overly kicks out when driving, but him getting stronger is going to help his aspect of this game. At 6'6", with new muscle, he's going to have the advantage when attacking smaller guards, and his new frame will allow him to absorb contact and finish accordingly. The free throw shooting obviously still needs work too. That, I'm sure, is also huge as to why he's so hesitant to attack. But Lonzo has been showing us since coming into the league, he's willing to put in the work and turn his weaknesses into strengths. Bol. Remember, right before the official NBA restart, we got a glimpse into the potential of Manute Bol's son, Bol. During the preseason game to the NBA restart, Bol showed us what he was capable of doing and gave us a glimpse into his future. This was the first time we saw Bol in the Nuggets uniform, and the Denver Nuggets didn't opt to utilize him as much during the NBA playoffs, because that's not necessarily the greatest environment to unleash Bol, especially since he had just come back from injury. So as a result, his statistics didn't look anything special, because he only played 12 minutes per game for 7 games, averaging 5.7 points and 3 rebounds per game. But he shot 1 3-pointer per game, an average 44% from 3. But one thing you gotta pay attention to is the Denver Nuggets have an extensive history of doing a phenomenal job drafting great talent in the latter parts of the NBA draft. Nikola Jokic, Kenneth Faried, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray are prime examples of the potential powerhouse that Denver Nuggets can be. Now Bol looks a little different as of late. He's not the same scrawny player that you saw in the last preseason. The dude has put on some muscle now, as he started to fill out his 7'2" frame. The question is, when will he become more like Kevin Durant? Or is he going to put on 50 pounds of muscle and turn into Giannis Antetokounmpo? The reason for comparing Bol to Giannis is because they're a very similar type of player. From the moment they were drafted, it was well known that they were going to be a project, meaning they both came into the league with an incredible amount of raw talent. However, now Bol is really starting to harness his talent on both ends of the floor and can virtually play any position. He has a little bit more of a polished jump shot, not to mention a 7'8" wingspan. Bol averaged 21 points in college, shot 52% from the 3-point line and 56% from the field. His length would make up for the weight that he did not have at the time. And it's no secret that a lot of players bulk up once they hit the league. Those NBA diets, those NBA trainers, those NBA meal plans hit a little differently. Also, sometimes in college, Bol would block a shot, then go to the other end and knock down a contested 3. And guess what? He does the exact same thing in the NBA. A mobile big who can block shots at the NBA level has a massive potential. Bol is looking very athletic, and his transformation is immensely impressive. And of course, he's putting in the work. He'll no doubt be a nightmare for opposing teams to go up against. Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson is a second-year forward for the Phoenix Suns. Drafted in 2019, he wasn't well known until recently. However, his transformation is quite inspiring. Cam Johnson grew up in Western Pennsylvania, which already made his draft hopes very unlikely, because there's only 4 other players in history to be drafted out of Western Pennsylvania. And early in his high school career, it wasn't looking too good, because his junior season, he was only 6'2", and he was not getting recruited whatsoever. But then fast forward to his senior season, when he had an insane growth spurt. He grew from 6'2" to 6'8", and he put up some terrific stats. He averaged 27.8 points a game, along with 8 rebounds and 5 assists. However, despite those pretty impressive stats, somehow he was not heavily recruited. But then all of a sudden, he was found by a guy known as Jamie Dixon, who was the head coach at Pitt University at the time, and he absolutely fell in love with Cam's game. The crazy thing is, Dixon was actually getting criticized for recruiting Cam. He said in an interview, "I knew he could shoot, and he could pass. But in the workout, he handled the ball better than I'd seen from him. I thought he was going to be a good player, obviously. Everybody can now say that they thought he was going to be an NBA player. I took a lot of abuse." Eventually, it was time for Johnson to make a decision on what college he was going to attend. The only offers he got were from places like Elon, Rice, Warford, and of course Pittsburgh, which he chose to attend. His college career started with being forced to redshirt his freshman year due to injury. In his sophomore year, when he came back from injury, he had a stellar season when he averaged 11.9 points per game, while shooting at 42% during that season. The coaches absolutely fell in love with Cam. One of the assistant coaches at Pitt said in an interview, "I've always thought of Cam as a warrior. I've seen him play sick and through injury. His last game in the playoffs, he had pneumonia. We couldn't get him off the court. He's a good representative of Pittsburgh." Cam decided to leave Pitt University after he graduated with a degree in communications in 3 years, and after his journey at Pitt, he decided to transfer to UNC. However, his debut season with the UNC Tar Heels was hindered by injuries. He missed a total of 10 games because he had to have surgery on a torn meniscus. And also, he was struggling with a knee injury. But when he played, he was very impressive. He averaged a total of 12.4 points a game, along with 4.7 rebounds during that season. Coming back for his senior season, he was an absolute beast. He averaged 17 points a game, along with 5.8 rebounds, while shooting 46% from 3. This dude was known to be the best shooter in the 2019 draft class. Not only did his shooting improve, but he was also improved on the defensive end of the floor. Not only that, but he was named the first team All-ACC. So after that, he decided to declare for the NBA draft. Cam ended up 11th pick by Minnesota, who traded him to Phoenix. His journey is absolutely insane. He wasn't even really recruited out of college. He was redshirted at Pitt, and then he sustained multiple injuries at North Carolina. And all of a sudden, he became the best shooter in his rookie class. Regarding his thoughts on his journey to the league, he said in an interview at the NBA Draft Combine, "Going through high school, my recruiting was different than most. The time in which I blossomed into what I've become and what I will become is just a little later than a lot of other people." Well, his perseverance is definitely paying off, and he's now shooting 40% while surrounded by star power in Phoenix. Are you motivated now to go out and make your own transformation? Hopefully so. But if not, at least make sure to like the video and hit subscribe for more inspirational basketball content right here at NBA Zone.